The entertainment industry is in utter shock after a shocking new accusation surfaced that has rocked the foundation of love. Hip-hop fans were still processing the vicious attack on Kirk Frost, which left him hospitalized and sparked many rumors, but nobody was ready for the accusations that this wasn't just a random act of violence, but rather a well-planned scheme and, most shockingly, a well-known love story. The attack was personal and had everything to do with Kirk's previous drama with this mystery cast member. According to sources close to the situation, this was an act of revenge, a warning, or something even more sinister. And the history pop star is being accused of being the mastermind behind it all. Rumors are rife on social media, and insiders are giving cryptic clues about who might be responsible. The truth is coming to light, and it's even messier than you might have imagined. Hold on tight, because we're going to reveal all the shocking details, covert betrayals, and behind-the-scenes chaos surrounding the scandal. Who is responsible for the Kirk Frost attack, and how deep is this conspiracy? Stay tuned as we unveil the most recent shocking developments in this unfolding drama. The world of hip-hop and love has always been full of awful drama, betrayals, and messy relationships. But this things had taken a dark and unexpected turn, and Kirk Frost, a regular on the show, was the target of a vicious attack that left fans in shock. What started out as a random incident outside a posh hotel has now turned into one of the most shocking scandals in reality TV history. At first, it was said that Kirk had been jumped by an irate fan, but as more information came to light, it became evident that there was more going on at play. When the news first surfaced, fans were speculating about who would have a reason to target Kirk. Someone with a long-standing grudge, a rival cast member, or someone with a hidden vendetta. But the internet was ablaze with theories. This wasn't just a careless attack, it was planned, and even more shocking, sources suggested that a major love and hip-hop star might be behind it. ND's, who is well known for his contentious past and high-profile marriage to Yandy Smith, had never been known to have a serious beef with Kirk. In fact, they had always appeared friendly on and off the show. However, as people began to piece together possible male involvement in this attack, the first significant piece of evidence emerged: a leaked CCTV clip from the hotel. The video of Kirk being attacked went viral online, causing social media to go into overdrive. At first, it didn't seem to reveal much, showing Kirk going about his business in the lobby, completely unaware of what was going on. However, seconds before the attack, a shadowy figure appeared in the background. The video was grainy, but fans didn't waste any time analyzing every frame, zooming in, comparing, and analyzing the body structure. The figure's attire to recent social media posts, and that's when the real madness started. People began pointing out uncanny similarities between the unidentified figure in the video and me, his build, his gait, and even a unique chain that glinted in the grainy footage. Fans soon compared the outfit to one that men from VCS had worn in an Instagram post a few days prior to the attack. It's nearly too much to ignore, but even with the suspicious footage, there was no concrete evidence that Mays had anything to do with it. That is, until a number of leaked text messages appeared online. The messages purportedly consisted of chilling exchanges between men VCs and an unidentified contact. One of the messages was allegedly sent just 24 hours prior to the attack. And if it was genuine, the internet went crazy. Meant that menaces had personally planned the assault on Kirk, but were they real? Some fans said they might have been made up, but others thought they were the smoking gun that showed everything had gone wrong. An anonymous source posing as a love and hip-hop producer then came forward with even more startling claims, according to The Insider. There had been tension between Kirk and menaces behind the scenes for months, but everything was kept off camera. It appears that Kirk had recently been negotiating a lucrative new deal with love and hip-hop producers, one that would give him more control over his story and a larger salary. Meanwhile, MDCs were reportedly feeling ignored and sidelined. The producer said that MDCs felt like he was being pushed out of the spotlight in favor of KK, and the situation had caused a lot of tension between the two men. The producer acknowledged that the hostility between them had been growing for a while. But just when fans thought the story could get any wilder, a leaked voice recording purportedly featuring M himself discussing Kirk's attack was released. The recording was sent anonymously to a well-known gossip blog and was only a few seconds long, but the words spoken were incorrect. It sent shockwaves through social media. The voice, who sounded eerily similar to men VCs, could be heard saying, "I don't care what happens to him. Just make sure it's done." Fans went crazy. If the recording was authentic, It meant that Miz had essentially confessed. But was it him, or was this part of a complex setup to frame him? The uncertainty only led to more speculation, and some fans were certain that Miz was guilty. As the accusations spread like wildfire, some thought that someone was making a special effort to remove him. However, MCs did something that made people even more suspicious. He went completely silent. He made no social media posts, interviews, or attempts to clear his name. Because he was always active online and vocal about rumors, his abrupt disappearance in May sparked even more suspicion among fans, who began to wonder whether he was hiding because he was guilty or if he was simply waiting for the right opportunity to speak up. The longer he remained silent, the more people thought he had something to hide. Late last night, however, a new report about law enforcement investigating N's potential involvement in Kirk's attack began to circulate. Some sources stated that police had already begun questioning those close to him, while others suggested that M had gone into hiding in an attempt to avoid the love and hip-hop producers were reportedly frantically trying to figure out how to handle the controversy behind the scenes. Would they cut MDCs from the show? Would they address the scandal on camera? Would they try to sweep it under the rug? Heat fans were divided. Some still thought he was innocent and that this was all just a wild rumor that was blown out of proportion, but others were convinced that the evidence was stacking against him. Although no one was certain of the road, it was evident that this was rapidly becoming one of the most significant reality TV scandals of the year. Just when fans believed they had heard it all, a shocking revelation surfaced that altered everything. A former associate of BC's, who had allegedly been close to him for years, came forward with, according to this insider, the beef between MCs and Kirk was more than just love and hip-hop contracts or TV drama. It was personal. The anonymous source said that men DCs felt Kirk had betrayed them in a way that went beyond simply retaliating against Kirk. This claim rocked social media to its foundation. While the specifics were unclear, rumors began to circulate that Kirk had done something behind men's backs that made him feel degraded and humiliated. Some fans speculated that it had to do with money, suggesting that Kirk had obstructed a business deal that MCs were about to enter into, while others thought it was about Yandy. Whispers went on to say that Kirk had said something about Yandy in private, which the men DCs learned about and never forgave. Were innumerable, but one thing was certain. If Means was truly responsible for the attack, it had been planned for a long time. Then, suddenly, a new angle of the CCTV footage appeared, this time from a different hotel camera. The quality was still grinning, but it revealed something that the first clip had missed. The shadowy figure, who many assumed to be male VCs, wasn't alone. There was another person standing just a few feet away, wearing a hoodie and hiding their face. Fans began watching the video right away, trying to identify the second person. Some thought it was one of MDC's close friends, who had been seen with him several times in recent months. Others thought it was just a random person who happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. But the most popular theory was that the second person was a hired attacker. When the internet was about to blow up with even more conspiracy theories, Yandy Smith finally broke her silence. She took to Instagram Live, clearly upset and emotional, and addressed the rumors head-on, saying, "This is crazy," shaking her head. At this point, it was allegedly men who had been paid to do his dirty work. Men DCs had nothing to do with this, so you should all stop believing everything you read online. However, rather than putting an end to the rumors, Yandy's response only worsened them. Fans noticed that she wasn't as defensive as they had anticipated, and some even noted that her voice was trembling a little, as if she were nervous or holding something back. Then, someone in the comments asked her directly, "Why is he hiding?" The internet went into overdrive with theories about whether Yandy was protecting him, whether she was lying to cover for him, or whether she knew something but wasn't ready to say it yet. The mystery only grew deeper when, in an unexpected turn of events, Kirk Frost's wife, Rashida, entered the conversation. After a brief, barely perceptible pause, Yandy finally said, "He just doesn't want to feed into this nonsense." Posted a mysterious Instagram story with only a few words that said, "Some people will do anything to stay relevant." Fans assumed she was referring to male DCs, but as soon as she didn't name them, the comment sections went crazy, with people tagging MDCs and Yandy and demanding answers. Rashida, who typically stays out of drama, had just added fuel to the fire at the same time that new reports surfaced. Refusing to talk to anyone but his immediate family, even producers from Love and Hip Hop were reportedly having trouble reaching him. Some sources said Kirk was waiting for legal counsel before speaking, while others conjectured that he was keeping quiet because he knew who was responsible for the attack but wasn't ready to reveal names just yet. Whatever the reason, his silence only increased suspicions, and when things couldn't get even more bizarre, a major gossip website was contacted by an anonymous tipster who claimed to have unquestionable proof that Mez was involved in the attack. The site promised to release the evidence within 24 hours, sending fans into a frenzy. What could the proof be? A voice recording, a video, or a text message that would confirm everything? The anticipation was so great that fans remained glued to their screens, anticipating the big reveal. Thought it would finally reveal to men DCS and pros that he had planned the attack, while others thought it might clear his name for good. However, nobody was prepared for what actually happened. Instead of direct evidence, the gossip site published an interview with a man who claimed to be an ex-friend of mine. The man's face was blurred out for privacy, but he made some serious accusations that men DCs had been acting suspiciously for weeks prior to the attack. Despite lacking concrete proof, he maintained that men DCs had made a remark days prior to the attack that stuck with him. People should learn not to mess with me. I handle things my way. Fans weren't sure what to think, but on the one hand, this was just one person's word against me. On the other hand, he claimed that men DCs had been making late-night phone calls, meeting with people in secret, and acting differently than usual. In the meantime, behind the scenes, Love and hip-hop producers were reportedly in full crisis mode, and rumors began to circulate that they were considering firing men DCS from the show. If this person was telling the truth, it meant that I had been planning something for a while. The interview sent shockwaves through social media, with supporters of MDC rushing to defend him, calling it a desperate attempt to frame him. If the situation worsened, they were afraid that the scandal would harm the franchise and were rushing to find a solution. Meanwhile, more questions began to surface. If MDC actually planned the attack, why was it only about jealousy and TV contracts? Or was there another reason? If not, who was attempting to set him up? Could it be that someone was using the whole thing to take him down? The internet was divided. Fans continued to think that Ems was innocent and that everything was a big misunderstanding, while others were certain that he was guilty and that the truth would eventually come out. However, one thing was certain. This scandal was far from over, and just when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse, another shocking piece of evidence surfaced that would completely change everything. Fans were glued to their screens, and the internet was on fire. Everyone was waiting for the next big revelation, which came sooner than expected. A well-known celebrity gossip blog released an exclusive report claiming to have the most damning piece of evidence yet: a leaked audio recording. The source, who wished to remain anonymous, insisted that this recording would definitively show that Mez was directly responsible for the attack on Kirk Frost. The audio was posted late at night, and within minutes it went viral on social media, and fans rushed to listen, analyzing every word, every breath, and every second. The recording wasn't perfect, but it was enough to send shockwaves through the entertainment industry. Two male voices could be heard discussing something in hushed tones that sounded uncannily like a planned confrontation. "Are you sure this is the right move?" one voice asked, sounding unsure. "It must be done." The other responded, "Ain't no more talking, he crossed the line." Although the voices were distorted, many fans were certain that the second voice belonged to Mez because of the way he spoke, the brief pauses, and the familiar tone. However, there was a problem. Nowhere in the recording was Kirk's name mentioned specifically, and there was no explicit statement that said, "I'm going after Kirk Frost." Instead, it was all vague and up for interpretation. People are really out there making up fake recordings just to drag MC's name through the mud. I don't know what you'll think this is, but we're not about to play into these games. Yandy, who had been trying to keep things under control, took to social media once more, her voice even more emotional than before, saying, "This is getting ridiculous." Others said it could mean anything. However, the damage was already done. The recording had received millions of views, and the court of public opinion had already found Mensei guilty. Even those who had initially supported him were beginning to question why he hadn't come forward and made a public statement, which was making matters worse. Rumors began to circulate that Kirk was furious about the attack and the way the entire situation had been handled, believing that the show wasn't doing enough to protect him and that they were allowing the drama to get out of control for ratings. He made the unexpected decision to go straight to a private meeting with Love and hip-hop producers after returning home to rest. According to insiders, Kirk was considering leaving the show completely after everything he had been through. He said he would rather not be a part of a franchise that permitted such risky situations to occur, but Love and hip-hop producers weren't prepared to let him go that easily. They offered him a giant deal to stay, an exclusive storyline centered on his recovery, an opportunity to testify, and even a pledge to take serious action against whoever was responsible for the attack. But then the unthinkable happened. A surprise witness came forward who no one had anticipated. This person was a security guard at the hotel where the attack occurred, and he or she claimed to have seen something that night that had the potential to completely upend the case. What they disclosed altered everything, according to the witness, who stated that many people were at the hotel that night, but not in the manner that people had assumed. This revelation sent shockwaves through social media. If N was at the hotel after the attack, did that mean he wasn't responsible, or was he there to clean up the mess? Fans were shocked to see how stressed out he was in the lobby, pacing back and forth and making several phone calls. The guard didn't hear what was said, but he remembered MC's tense body language, almost like he was in panic mode. Were divided. While some felt that the new information demonstrated his innocence and that he had only gone there to learn more after hearing about what had happened, others believed that this was just another layer of a well-planned cover-up. Before things could get any more chaotic, he revealed that MDC's was being officially investigated by the police. A person of interest in relation to the attack. They weren't yet calling him a suspect, but the fact that his name was even connected to an official investigation sent the internet into overdrive. Could this really be the case? Many people were going to face legal trouble once more, and fans of hip-hop and Love were split more than ever before. Some stood by him, insisting that this was just another instance of the media attempting to discredit a successful black man. Others, however, denied that where there was smoke, there was fire, pointing out that men had a history with the law and that perhaps this wasn't a coincidence. Meanwhile, Yandy was battling her issues, facing criticism from the media, fans, and even some of her alleged industry friends. Some were urging her to step away from him, saying that she was jeopardizing her career and reputation by sticking by him. But Yandy wasn't backing down. She went all out, posting a lengthy message on Instagram that read, "Loyalty isn't just a word. It's a lifestyle through thick and thin, through lies and truth. I stand by my husband." At the end of the day, only God knows the true story, so trust me, the truth will come out. But will it? That was the real question. Then, as if things weren't already chaotic enough, Kirk Frost himself finally broke his silence by posting a mysterious message on Instagram, just stating, "I know exactly who did this, and they know I know." The internet went crazy, wondering who he was talking about. Was it men in DC or someone else entirely, or was he just playing mind games? The speculation reached an all-time high, and fans were waiting impatiently to see what would happen next, because at this point, it wasn't just about the attack anymore. It was about loyalty betrayal and the dangerous truth that was hiding beneath the surface. Surface Surf and the next revelation that would rock everything to its foundation, Kirk Frost's mysterious Instagram post sent shockwaves through social media. "I know exactly who did this, and they know I know." The internet was ablaze with rumors, with fans certain that Kirk was blaming MD directly, but others weren't so sure. Could it have been someone else? Was Kirk preparing a bigger reveal, or was he just playing? Whatever the case, one thing was certain: mess was now at the center of one of the biggest scandals in the history of Love and hip-hop. Fans were waiting for a response, but before Mess could even make a statement, an anonymous source leaked text messages that purportedly linked him to the attack, and screenshots surfaced online that purportedly showed a conversation between two. Unknown people's messages were ambiguous but alluded to something sinister. Everything was set up to appear random, but trust me, he will always be there. His fans started reading the text right away. There were no names, timestamps, or other details that directly connected M to the messages, but that didn't stop people from assuming the worst. The rumor mill went into overdrive as everyone tried to determine who it was and whether they were even real. But just when it looked like things couldn't get any crazier, Rashida finally spoke up. For days, Kirk's wife had kept quiet and refused to participate in the drama. But as the accusations mounted, she was unable to contain herself and took to Instagram Live, looking clearly worn out, to address the situation head-on. "You all need to stop playing with my husband's name," she said in a voice full of frustration when she started. Fans were waiting for her to confirm whether or not she thought me was to blame, but Rashida refused to do so. All I can say is that the truth always comes out, and this man has been through enough. He nearly lost his life, and instead of standing by him, they're out there spreading lies and conspiracy theories. You are all truly something else. However, after days of avoiding the media storm, Menbc was finally forced to speak out. He appeared in an exclusive interview looking tense and visibly frustrated, and, for the first time, he addressed the allegations directly. Did she believe the rumors, or was she just trying to remain neutral? The uncertainty only made people more desperate for answers. It's crazy how quickly people turn on you when you've done nothing wrong, he said, shaking his head. The interviewer pressed him, asking him directly, did you have anything to do with Kirk Frost's attack? MDCs didn't hesitate at all, saying firmly, I have no reason to do that. I don't move like that, and honestly, I'm disgusted that people even think I would. The interviewer didn't let up, so why do? Menbc sighed deeply, massaging his temples before answering, look, when you're in this industry, people will do anything to take you down. They don't want to see you win. They don't want to see you happy. And when they can't beat you fair and square, they make up lies, manipulate, and twist the truth. People believe it, which is why there are recordings, text messages, and all these so-called leaks that seem to point that way. The interview sparked even more debate at the moment. Some fans thought he was being set up, while others weren't convinced because his words sounded too prepared and calculated. Additionally, he never gave a reason for his presence at the hotel that night, which left fans wondering why he was there. Finally, in the biggest shock yet, the police officially named a suspect in the attack. But it wasn't. People who had been blaming me suddenly didn't know what to think when reports surfaced that law enforcement had arrested someone entirely different. A man who had no known ties to love and hip-hop, but who allegedly had a history of working as muscle for certain people in the industry. Social media went crazy when the news got out. Had he really been innocent the entire time, or was he just a convenient scapegoat, or was this new? Kirk Frost posted another cryptic message late at night, saying, I see y'all trying to change the narrative, but trust me, I ain't done yet. This sent fans into a frenzy. What did Kirk mean? Was he still convinced that MDs was involved, or was he hinting at an even bigger conspiracy? Bigger secret, the drama was far from over. If anything, it was just getting started. As fans continue to analyze every hint and argue over who should be believed, one thing is certain, this scandal has permanently altered the course of love and hip-hop history. This story only gets more bizarre, and we know that everyone has their opinions. Do you think Mies was truly innocent, or is there still questionable activity going on behind the scenes? What about Kirk? Who do you think he was? We're reading all of those cryptic posts, so feel free to voice your opinions in the comments section. We'll be closely monitoring this situation, and we'll be the first to break down any new developments for you. Please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and enable notifications so you don't miss the latest tea. This drama is far from over, and we assure you that you don't want to miss it. What follows